Let me be brutally honest with you. Most people will never win. Most people will never reach their dreams, never break free, never touch greatness. Do you know why? Because they're too comfortable. They're lazy. They scroll more than they build. They consume more than they create. And they love excuses more than results. The painful truth is this: 95% of people will live and die average. They'll wake up, work a job they hate, complain about how unfair life is, live paycheck to paycheck, and then leave this earth without ever tapping into their true potential. And you? You're here because deep down you know you're meant for more. You don't want to be like them. You don't want to be another faceless body in the crowd. You want to separate yourself. You want to rise above. You want to dominate. So here's the deal. In this video, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to give you feel-good advice. I'm going to give you the raw, unfiltered truth about what it actually takes to get ahead of 95% of people. If you want to stay comfortable, stop watching now. But if you want to wake up, if you want to destroy mediocrity, if you want to stand with the top 5%, then lock in, because this is going to hurt. But it will set you free. Let me double down. Success is not about luck. It's not about talent. It's not about some magic opportunity that falls into your lap. Success is about choices. Small, daily, brutal choices that most people are too weak to make. Do you know why the 95% stay stuck? Because they want results without sacrifice. They want the body without the discipline, the money without the grind, the freedom without the suffering. But the 5%, they understand one thing: you pay first, you play later. The top 5% work while others sleep. They invest while others spend. They learn while others waste time. They build while others complain. This video is not entertainment. It's a wake-up call. If you actually listen and apply what I'm about to say, your life will never look the same again. So buckle up, because once we go in, there's no turning back. The harsh reality. Why 95% stay average? Let's talk about reality. Here's the truth. Most people don't actually want success. They say they do, but their actions prove otherwise. They say they want wealth, but they spend every dollar on things that keep them broke. They say they want freedom, but they waste hours scrolling TikTok, Netflix, YouTube, living through other people's lives instead of building their own. You know what separates the 95% from the 5%. The 95% live in denial. They blame the government, the economy, their parents, their boss. They think life is unfair. But the 5%, they take full responsibility. They say, it's on me. My success or failure is on me. Nobody's coming to save me. Until you accept this brutal truth that your life is 100% your responsibility, you'll stay average. Because the moment you blame, you give away your power. And average people love giving away their power. That's why they never rise. Let me tell you something most people won't admit. 95% of people are slaves. Slaves to their habits, slaves to their comfort, slaves to their emotions. They wake up tired, hit snooze, complain about their job, and then repeat the same cycle every single day. And here's the worst part. They think that's normal. They think life is supposed to be boring, painful, and average, but the 5%, they see through the lie. They know that life is meant to be conquered. They know that discipline creates freedom. They know that sacrifice builds empires. Here's the reality. If you live like the majority, you will die like the majority, broke, stressed, unfulfilled, and forgotten. If that doesn't scare you, it should. The mindset shift. Discipline and sacrifice. If you want to get ahead of 95% of people, the very first step is this. Kill your excuses and master discipline. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, you're done. You can have dreams, you can have vision boards, you can pray, you can manifest, but if you can't control yourself, none of it matters. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. It means waking up early when your body begs for more sleep. It means hitting the gym when your mind says, just tomorrow. It means working on your goals when your friends are out wasting time. Sacrifice is the twin of discipline. You cannot rise without sacrifice. The top 5% sacrifice nights out, sacrifice comfort, sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term power. So here's the brutal truth. If you're not willing to sacrifice, you don't deserve success. Let's go deeper. 95% of people are emotional. They let their feelings control them. If they feel tired, they quit. If they feel scared, they don't try. If they feel lazy, they don't move. But the 5%, they act regardless of emotion. They know emotions lie. They know motivation comes and goes. But discipline stays. So you want to win? Start training yourself to do things without negotiation. Wake up early, no negotiation. Hit the gym, no negotiation. Put in the work, no negotiation. And here's the kicker. Once you build discipline, everything else falls in place. Your body changes. Your bank account changes. Your mindset changes. Your life changes. Discipline is the foundation. Without it, you're just another dreamer. With it, you're unstoppable. Killer habits. What the 5% do daily. Now let's get practical. What do the 5% actually do that makes them so different? It comes down to habits. Let me be brutal with you. Your habits are either building you or destroying you. Period. The 5% wake up early, they attack the day. They don't waste their mornings on scrolling or snoozing. They know that the morning sets the tone for everything else. They read daily. While the 95% are gossiping, the 5% are feeding their minds. They know that knowledge compounds. They learn new skills, study success, and stay sharp. They manage their money ruthlessly. While the 95% spend on junk, the 5% invest. They understand assets versus liabilities. They know every dollar is a soldier, either fighting for their freedom or enslaving them deeper. And here's the biggest one. They execute. They don't just talk about goals, they move on them. They write the book. They launch the business. They take the risk. While the rest are waiting for someday, the 5% are already building. Killer habits. Continued, but there's more. The 5% guard their time like their life depends on it. Because it does. Time is the only currency you can't get back. If you waste it, it's gone forever. That's why they don't waste hours in pointless conversations, meaningless entertainment, or toxic relationships. They also take care of their bodies because they know energy equals execution. They train hard, they eat clean, they rest properly, because what's the point of ambition if your body can't keep up? And most importantly, they are consistent. Not perfect, consistent. They don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. They don't let one missed workout become a habit. They don't let one failure define them. They keep showing up day after day, no matter what. That consistency, stacked over years, is what puts them ahead of everyone else. Brutal lessons. The things nobody wants to hear. Now let's get to the part most people avoid. The brutal lessons. The things that sting. The truths that people don't want to hear. But you need to. Here's one. Nobody cares about your excuses. Life doesn't care that you had a tough childhood, that you're tired, that it's hard. The world only respects results. Either you produce or you don't. Period. Another. Success will be lonely. You will lose friends. You will be misunderstood. People will talk about you, laugh at you, doubt you, and you have to keep moving anyway. Here's another. Your feelings don't matter. Life doesn't stop because you're sad or anxious or scared. The rent is still due. The bills are still coming. The competition is still grinding. The only thing that matters is whether you show up. If you can't handle these truths, you will stay average. Let me hit you harder. Most people won't succeed simply because they're weak. Not physically, mentally. They can't handle rejection. They can't handle failure. They can't handle boredom. So they quit. But winners, they eat failure for breakfast. They know every failure is just feedback. They know rejection is part of the process. They know boredom is the price of mastery. Another brutal truth, you will not always be motivated. Stop waiting to feel ready. If you only work when you feel good, you'll never get anywhere. The winners don't wait for the right mood. They move regardless. And here's the harshest truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Not the government, not your family, not your boss. If you want freedom, you have to create it yourself. The sooner you accept this, the faster you rise. Wealth and success. How the 5% think about money. Now let's talk about money, because this is where the 95% completely fail. The average person works for money. They trade their time for a paycheck. Then they spend it all on things that make them look rich instead of actually being rich. That's why they stay broke forever. The 5%, they make money work for them. They don't just work jobs. They build systems. They invest. They create assets that make money while they sleep. Here's the brutal truth. If you're not investing, you're losing. If you're not learning about money, you're staying broke on purpose. The rich think long term. They don't care about impressing people today. They care about freedom tomorrow. They'll drive the old car now so they can buy real estate later. They'll skip the party now so they can own the business later. That's the mindset you need. But here's another harsh truth. Wealth is not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep and how much you grow. The 95% make money and immediately spend it on liabilities, clothes, gadgets, parties, cars they can't afford. The 5% use their money as a tool. They multiply it. They invest in skills, in businesses, in assets. And listen, money is not evil. Money is power. Money gives you options. Money lets you control your time. The broke love to say, money doesn't buy happiness. You know who says that? People who don't have any. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys freedom. And freedom is priceless. If you want to be in the 5%, stop being a consumer and start being a builder. Stop chasing status. Start chasing freedom. That's how the 5% win. Breaking comfort zones, pain, and struggle. If you really want to separate yourself, you have to understand this. Comfort is the enemy. The 95% worship comfort. They avoid pain, they avoid struggle, they avoid risk. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. The 5% chase discomfort. They put themselves in hard situations on purpose. They lift heavy. They run when they're tired. They work when it's boring. They push when it hurts. Because they know this. Growth lives in discomfort. Muscles don't grow without pain. Skills don't sharpen without repetition. Businesses don't succeed without risk. If you're addicted to comfort, you're signing a contract with mediocrity. But if you can embrace discomfort, if you can suffer on purpose, you will become unstoppable. Let me put it this way. Every time you run from pain, you get weaker. Every time you avoid hard work, you fall behind. Every time you choose easy, life gets harder. But when you face the pain head on, when you embrace struggle, when you go through the fire, you come out stronger. The 5% are forged in discomfort. That's why they're rare. That's why they dominate. Stop chasing the easy life. Chase the meaningful life. Because the easy life ends hard, and the hard life ends powerful. Life strategy. Building long-term vision. Now, let's talk about something the 95% never think about. Strategy. The average person lives day to day. They have no plan, no vision, no strategy. They live for the weekend, for the next vacation, for the next dopamine hit. The 5%, they think long term. They know exactly where they're going. They set goals for the next year, 5 years, 10 years. They reverse engineer their life. They ask themselves, what do I want my life to look like? What do I need to do today to get there? Without vision, you're just drifting. And drifting leads to nowhere. If you want to be in the 5%, build a strategy. Write your goals. Break them down. Create a roadmap. And then attack it with everything you've got. But here's the key. Strategy without action is just fantasy. That's why the 95% never move. They love planning, they love dreaming, but they don't execute. The 5% build and adjust. They move forward, they fail, they learn, they adapt, they keep going. Think about this. A plane doesn't fly in a straight line. It's constantly adjusting. But as long as it's moving toward the destination, it gets there. That's how life is. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need direction, discipline, and the ability to adapt. Stop drifting. Start strategizing. Start building. Start moving. Surrounding yourself with the right people. Let me give you one of the biggest secrets to success. Your circle will make or break you. If you hang around 5 broke people, you'll be the 6th. If you hang around 5 lazy people, you'll be the 6th. If you hang around 5 winners, you'll be the 6th. The 95% spend their time with people who hold them back. Friends who waste time, complain, gossip, settle. And guess what? That energy rubs off. The 5% are ruthless about their environment. They cut off toxic friends. They spend less time with people who don't grow. They intentionally place themselves around winners, mentors, people who challenge them, because you can't soar with eagles if you're surrounded by pigeons. Here's the raw truth. You will never outperform your circle. If your crew is weak, you will be weak. If they settle, you'll settle. If they quit, you'll quit. You can fight it for a while, but eventually your environment wins. So what do? You upgrade your circle, not someday, not when it's comfortable, now. That means cut off the friends who laugh at your ambition. Distance yourself from the ones who only call when they need something. Stop wasting hours with people who have no plan, no hunger, no vision. Yes, it's brutal. Yes, it's lonely. But guess what? The 5% don't fear loneliness. They fear mediocrity. When you cut dead weight, you create space for winners to walk in. Start networking intentionally. Read, join groups, chase mentors, collaborate with people who are already ahead of you. Get around people who make you uncomfortable because they're doing more than you. That discomfort, that's growth. And listen, even if you can't find them right away, become that person yourself. Discipline yourself so hard, level up so much, that the right people are drawn to you naturally. Winners recognize winners. At the end of the day, your circle is either your cage or your launch pad. Choose wisely. Now, if you're still listening right now, I'll tell you this. You've already separated yourself from most people, because 95% won't even finish content like this. They'll click away, distract themselves, go back to wasting time. But you're still here. That's the first sign you belong in the 5%. But don't just listen. Act. Start today. Apply one of these brutal lessons right now. Cut the excuse. Cut the distraction. Do the work. Surround yourself with killers. And if you want more raw, unfiltered truth like this, hit that subscribe button. Join a community of people who refuse to be average. Turn on notifications because every video is designed to put you ahead of the 95% who are asleep. This isn't just content. This is a movement, and the next step is yours. The question is, are you going to keep living like the 95%? Or are you ready to rise with the 5%?